A big hello to all our viewers around the world. Guess where I am right now? That's right, in Simonstown in South Africa. It's a beautiful sunny day here and the people, hi! The people are really welcoming. It's a small town, very peaceful, and just take a look at all of these buildings. They are amazing and they've been here for centuries, which gives this place a real cultural feel. Simonstown is a small town. However, it is never short on tourists. Why? They come here for one thing, and that is the penguins. It's hard to believe that there are penguins here, but there are, all along the South African coast. However, Simonstown happens to be the place where most of them live. It was in the early 1980s that the first unexpected visitors, the penguins, arrived here. And they just never left. They brought about a completely different type of life for this time. And they also blend in with the locals and their way of life too. Now, Simonstown, for 2 centuries now, has been a Navy base and port. And this year's popular Netflix documentary, Penguinstown, was filmed right here. An event that will go down in history is happening today, and I will be joined by a very special guest. My friend is already there waiting for me, so let's go and meet them. But before I forget, I will be interacting with you today throughout this live stream, and I'll quiz you. You might have the chance to win a very special prize, so don't miss out.
Ah,
I'm Lauren.
I'm Ronald. Pleased to meet you, Lauren.
Very nice to meet you, Ronald.
Thank you, Lauren.
Can you take me to Boulders Beach?
So I shall do, ma'am. Welcome to Cape Town, ma'am.
Ah, thank you. I'm very excited about going to Boulders. Have you been before?
Ma'am, I take a lot of clients to Boulders Beach. It is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful sightseeing place, ma'am.
Yeah, look at this place. Look at the buildings.
Very, very old buildings, ma'am.
Yeah.
But it's got a lot of history behind it.
Do you know any of that history?
Unfortunately, ma'am, it was way before my time.
Okay.
But I must admit, this is one of the most beautiful sightseeings in Cape Town, especially the place I'm taking you to now.
Okay.
Absolutely beautiful.
I've heard it's beautiful. Even this part is beautiful.
Oh, Lauren, this brings so much back, so much memories. On your right, you will see its history, buildings from the years 1800.
Really?
I'm telling you, Lauren.
Old buildings.
Old history standing here on our right.
And are you from here, Ronald?
Yes, Lauren, I am from Cape Town, born here, all my life here. But this is one of the most beautiful sights to see. And if you take this road straight down, Lauren, you will end up at what we call Cape Point.
Okay.
Which is your very last destination of South Africa. And that, Lauren, in itself is what makes this country so unique.
Wow. Like the end of the world.
It is basically, shall we call it, the end of the world, Lauren.
Thank you so much. Okay, have a good
pleasure.
day.
Take care, man. Right?
Do you want me to go all the way?
It's a nice tea, Ronald. Thank you.
And I have made it. I am finally here where I want to be at the Boulders Beach Penguin Colony. I am here. But before I go inside, I do have a very special guest to introduce you to. My friend Lunga is here, so I'm going to put my mask on and welcome him. Lunga, hello, how are you?
I'm good, and how are you doing?
I am very good. I'm very excited about today, seeing the penguins.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm also very excited to be here as well.
Good. Well,
And
please
speaking to you.
introduce yourself to our viewers.
Oh, well, thank you. My name is Lunga CEO. I'm actually from Telkom, one of the biggest, largest telco companies in South Africa. We provide broadband services to South Africans that actually allow them to make voice calls, to access the internet, and actually talk to friends and families across the world in South Africa. That's what we do.
That's incredible, and that's so important right now in these times that we can sort of connect and communicate across the world, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And actually telcos, they're actually sitting behind it. They provide the infrastructure to actually allow people to be able to communicate. And one of those infrastructures is a technology called 5G, actually. So we've got, one of the largest fiber sort of, let's call it, infrastructures in the country that actually allows telco, especially mobile companies, to be able to provide technologies such as 4G and lately 5G. And we actually do that very well in South Africa, and we're actually, very happy to be actually able to support this initiative that we actually have here, which is actually setting up a 5G tower that actually allows us to even stream, basically.
Wow. I mean, I've been saying since earlier on that this is an event that is going down in history today, and it is, because this is South Africa's first ever 5G live stream. Am I right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And 5G has got lots of benefits, right, for our viewers at home, for anyone who's actually watching us. There's a lot of use cases that we're actually starting to see, especially in the mining space and also in the health space as well. And maybe if I might touch on, in the health space, what 5G has been able to do in China, they've actually had, one of the first sort of, surgeries that was done virtually by a neurosurgeon 3,000 away from a location, using 5G technology. And the doctor has been able, through 5G, connect with a robot, sitting in a surgery room and be able to sort of control it from virtually.
From 3,000 miles away.
3,000 miles away. Can you imagine what that could actually potentially do in South Africa, where we have a concentration of specialist doctors in some areas, and in rural areas you can't get those doctors in essence. So you can use 5G technology to actually connect doctors in rural areas with specialist doctors in urban areas, where they're able to share their knowledge and actually direct each other in terms of how to bring better health care to our people in South Africa.
That's crucial. I mean, doing a surgery 3,000 miles apart, the surgeon's here and 3,000 miles away is a patient, all using 5G technology and a robotic arm. That is, it's mind-blowing, actually. Pardon my pun. Wow. So potentially, Lunga, 5G technology could really be used to maybe even save and protect the penguins.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So think about this as well. I mean, you've got, I don't know, it could be, specialists or researchers in penguin that could actually be sitting all over the country, all over the world. And you can set up a 5G stream or a camera here, and they're able to actually monitor the penguins and possibly able to almost prevent some of the, I think the last one was a bee sting, that had happened to penguins. And you can basically it actually allows you to pull resources from across the country, the whole world, using the same technology, and you just connect them. You don't have to have people inside actually doing the monitoring. So there's a lot of things that you could use the technology for in terms of just streaming and actually connecting people from all over the world and all over the country as well.
So having a camera right next to the penguins and just monitoring them all the time, if anything happens, whether it's bees or people or some other predator, that is unbelievable.
Yeah, and I mean, you can even think about mining, right? Mining, a miner is one of the dangerous jobs. Basically, that you can find to go deep 2,000 kilometers and be able to mine. What 5G could potentially do as well, you can send robots and actually connect them via 5G. And the actual workers could actually sit in safe areas and be able to use robots and sort of control them to actually do deep excavation in mining and be able to actually just create better jobs for people as well, but also to go into areas that are unsafe for human beings. But maybe we could use robots and actually connect them via 5G to actually do that. And I think many benefits that you can potentially see with just using 5G technology.
So many different sectors there, you're speaking about the environmental sector, the wildlife, the sort of mining, tourism. I mean, I even hear about 5G technology being used sort of in the rainforests, with sort of collaboration with Huawei and different organizations to sort of test for audio sounds. So the technology can recognize sounds such as a chainsaw or maybe even a vehicle or people in the distance, detect those sounds and then of course alert the immediate people, and then those people can be alerted and react if there is a threat imminent to the forest. And that alone is just unbelievable.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you think about what we call IoT, right, the Internet of Things, right, it's basically having sensors, you know, almost every, maybe let's take the forest as an example, right, having sensors there and be able to connect those sensors via whatever SIM cards that you've got there through this 5G technology in essence, and, you know, sitting in some sort of room far away and be able to almost just detect, you know, what could potentially happen in the wildlife as well, and be able to react before it even happens. As well. There's a lot of things that we can do just in the prevention space, rather than wait for things to happen and then react to them. Exactly.
Yeah, you know, I even heard they can analyze, again via audio, sounds of a specific species. So like the spider monkey, for example, which is a highly endangered animal at risk of extinction. So 5G technology can actually detect the sound of the spider monkeys and hear for them and know where they are and know if it's an alarm call or a threat or just a normal vocalization. So that's quite specific to a species. Amazing.
You gotta love it, right?
Got to love
what technology can actually do for all of us. It changes our lives, right? And as long as we use it properly, also within bounds and legally as well, there's a lot of things that we can do. There's a lot of use cases that you can think about. And that's what 5G is all about, actually. It's just an evolution of technologies that we've had before to this one that actually allows us to do things that we never thought actually possible. That we can actually do from remote locations. I think that's key for me.
That's key,
Just doing these things from a remote location. You don't have to be physically there. You can use, you know, IoT technology as well, connected with 5G, and then you're able to actually provide basically, you know, those broadband services and be able to just detect a whole lot of things before they even happen.
It's like the opportunities are endless. And I mean, 5G has already really blended into our everyday life, to be honest. But Lunga, tell me, I thought that there was no 5G network here. I could be wrong, but how exactly are we live streaming today?
Yeah, so what we've done today, we've actually set up a 5G sort of network here, or right here, temporary, and actually, you know, sort of connect it, and we're able to do this live streaming. Actually, 5G also needs a lot of what we call fiber optic cables as a backhaul into it, so that you're actually able to carry traffic much faster, also in bigger quantities as well. So what we've done today is to actually set up a temporary one here and be able to live stream as well. We support the 5G deployment in South Africa. We've got a lot of sites that are already 5G ready in South Africa that we continuously sort of develop as well, so that we can bring the technology closer to the people. Also closer to people like you as well, right? So that you are able to stream live as well. And I think technology will also evolve from just streaming using satellite into actually streaming using 5G, because it's much more efficient. It also doesn't have disruptions when weather patterns or there's weather changes.
Yeah, of course.
As an example,
Oh, wow. So that's how we're streaming live today with 5G technology. And I'm obviously not an expert in telecommunication, not at all. I'm standing with one, but I'm not one. So you did mention sort of optic fiber.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of our viewers, as well as me, are maybe not entirely sure what that is. Are you able to explain that to us?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Telco has got one of the largest fiber optic infrastructures in the country. Well, we're actually the biggest, but it actually allows our viewers, it's actually having an ability to access the internet. When you access the internet, you are able to actually stream live things. You are able to go on social media. You are able to do a whole lot of things, actually work from home as well. That's what the internet actually does. And fiber optic cables allow you to do that with, and it actually gives you much higher speeds as well, much bigger capacity as well. And you can connect as many devices as you can using fiber technology. But it also provides as a backhaul into 5G mobile sites, actually. So that's why you can get 5G, because it actually comes at the back of fiber optic sort of infrastructure that we deploy in the country. So think about it, when you're sending an email, from here, it takes milliseconds to reach the second person. We actually provide the services to deliver that email via fiber, as an example, right? Connecting you, into the internet, using that infrastructure, using that pipe to deliver all of those services. When you send an SMS, which is instantaneous, and people respond quite quickly, it takes milliseconds. We use the same technology to do that. make phone calls. So there's many uses as well.
Well, I'm so glad you're here because I really am not an expert, so I would not have known that in any way, shape or form. But just another question for you, Lunga. So what is the main sort of industry that 5G is being used for sort of right now?
So right now we see it in many sort of large enterprises. I mean, I mentioned the health industry, you know how hospitals are actually deploying it, the open surgery that has happened in China. We see it in the mining space as well, being used a lot more. We see it in the education space to actually deliver, virtual classrooms to millions and millions of students, in essence. But we also see it, with people's homes as well, right? Where they're actually looking at, much bigger capacity or mobile capacity to access the internet. So you can either get it via fiber or 5G. So there's many use cases that we see, but in enterprises, it's been really pervasive in that sense, because a lot of industries are finding, the use of it actually much more valuable.
Wow, your insights have been incredible today. I've definitely learned a lot, and I hope you all have at home for sure. Lunga, thank you so much for your time today, for being here. Are you going to go and visit the penguins?
Yes, of course, I will. And thank you very much for having me as well. Yeah.
It's been an absolute
really nice.
pleasure.
No, same here.
Would you like to say goodbye to all our viewers?
And thank you very much for hosting me as well. And I hope you actually find this very valuable and insightful. Thank you.
Thank you again. Enjoy the penguins.
Will do. Thank you. Cheers.
Wow, I have definitely learned a lot. I'm just going to pop my mask off now because I have something very exciting. We do have a quiz for you, and I'm going to tell you the quiz. Now, it's going to be the fastest responder, the person that answers the fastest is going to be our winner for this quiz, and you will win a very special prize. So are you ready? Who is the main star of today's live stream? It's definitely not me, it's definitely not Lunga. But in fact, is it A, impala, B, an ostrich, C, penguins, or D, donkey? There you go. I'll quickly run through that one more time just in case any of you forgot. A, impala, B, ostrich, C, penguins, and D, donkey. The fastest person to answer will be the one to win that prize. So get on the keyboards and answer below. But we do have another chance for you to win a prize. We have another question for you. This one is slightly different in that we want to hear from you. It's a little bit more open-ended. We want you to share with us your most favorable or favorite wildlife encounter. Tell us, we want to hear from you. Or if you've not got a sort of encounter with wildlife, you are welcome to tell us your favorite memory with your pet. Either or, wildlife or pet. Tell us, and the best answer, our favorite answer, will be chosen, and you will win a prize. There you go, fantastic. What a morning. It was so great to meet Mr. Lunga, and I do think it is time to go inside because I cannot wait anymore. I do want to get inside and go and see the penguins, so let's go. I'm going to say hi again. Hi! Hi. Look, so many penguins. Wow, I finally made it, and I do actually have someone who's going to be here to help me and guide me through the park. Hi!
Hi, Laura.
Let me just put my mask on.
I'm so glad to have you here with us. This is a little gift.
Oh, thank you so
African
much.
Penguin for you.
Wow. And what's your name?
I'm Trishala, everybody. I'm a local expert on the penguins here at Boulders Beach in South Africa.
Would you look at that? Even the heart is a South African flag.
Absolutely.
Myself and all the viewers at home are really excited about seeing the penguins, so can you take me to them?
Let's go.
Oh, I've heard so
Follow
much
me.
about it, but I just want to see it with my own eyes.
I'm so excited to share all of this with you guys because it is such a beautiful place, and we're going to see some really beautiful creatures.
Would you look at that?
This is just a drop.
Just
of what
a
we're
drop.
going to see.
Oh, really?
Look
And
at this.
what's all that stuff over there?
So what we're looking at here, like you said, we're in Simonstown in False Bay, and what we're looking at here is basically a whole lot of kelp that has been revealed because it's exactly low tide, the lowest tide for today at the moment. And that all these heads are popping up, and that's really important because it's really important for the ecosystem.
Yeah.
What it means is it creates a little kind of haven for little animals and creatures, which is super important.
Oh, wow.
Everything that's going on in this area, from the vegetation to the birds. You might even hear little squawkings.
Oh.
I know.
And these boulders that we can see, obviously that's why it's called Boulders Beach, but these boulders, how old are they?
They're about 540 million years old.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know they may look a little bit like perhaps they've rolled down from the top of the mountain, but not at all. It's just that these are granitic boulders.
Okay.
So everything else around it, which is usually sandstone, would have all gotten eroded away, and then you get these little pockets of boulders. And
Wow.
it's incredible because it means it creates a nice little sanctuary, a little protection for any creatures that live in this area.
Aha, I see. And I can imagine that water is very cold.
It's particularly warm now.
Okay.
It's about 18 degrees at the moment, which is great for Cape Town. I was flying 10 degrees here, and I was winded and very unhappy with my decision. But False Bay, this area, it's really warming up. We're getting into summer.
Ah.
So really beautiful.
So this whole area is False Bay.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Ah.
And you can have a look, the mountains are kind of they're wrapping around, and
Yep.
this bay area is obviously filled with water, and that allows it to also maintain a higher temperature.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it's also really, really nice to see whales and dolphins. So I've seen plenty of whales around here, which is, I'm so lucky to be able to do that. I've seen humpbacks, I've seen so many southern right whales. We've even had about 7 orcas come through here
You're so
recently.
lucky. And you could even use these to actually have a look.
We use the lovely binoculars as well to have a look. And I mean, most of these whales are not even 200 meters away from the shore. They can really be very active close to the shore, and you can have a good look. You'll see them
wow.
reaching.
Oh, look, I feel like we're getting close
I
now.
think that we are getting close. If we have a look down here,
Okay.
there's a whole lot of tracks for the penguins.
Penguin tracks.
It's a little penguin highway.
So we're seeing lots of signs of them, but
Yeah.
not quite seeing them yet. But that's okay.
But I'm sure as we proceed, we'll get a little luckier with every step.
They're coming soon. I can feel it.
Now, you might also notice that there's a very specific vegetation in this area. Everything's quite like stocky,
Yep.
close to the ground, very hardy. Very important because it gets very windy in Cape Town.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And also the penguins that live in this area need to be able to create little burrows. And this type of vegetation is perfect for that.
Perfect. It's very beautiful. It's very green. Didn't expect it to be so green here.
That's because the majority of South Africa gets their rainfall in the summer, but in Cape Town it's in the winter. So this will all start to get brown very quickly. But at the moment we still have some cool bits here. This is edible.
Edible?
Yeah.
Wow.
June spinach.
June spinach. I'm actually quite hungry right now.
I would suggest not eating this particular one since it's very close to where the penguins are.
Okay,
have been
I'll
doing their
refrain.
business. But it is
June
certainly
spinach.
edible, and it tastes very much like spinach.
And do the penguins eat this?
No,
Okay.
they're not omnivorous nor herbivorous, so they'll be eating things like anchovies, sardines.
So it's not delicious to the penguins. That's okay.
No, but it will be delicious to you, I promise.
I can hear lots of sounds now. I feel like we're getting so much closer.
I can actually see little bits of feathers.
Yeah, so can I. Okay, that's a giveaway.
Yes. And I could hear some seagulls as well. These penguins have quite a relationship with seagulls.
Oh, there's a seagull over there.
There we
Okay.
go. So that's a kelp gull.
Kelp gull.
It's got a really dark back,
Yep.
nice broad wings.
And do they not get on? Are they not
They
friends?
don't get on. Kelp gulls like to steal their eggs.
Oh dear. Okay. No, I
It
don't
is
think they'll get on.
slightly comical to watch, but of course it's not very nice.
Oh dear. Okay, so
No.
not friends.
Not friends. Now I see a a lot more feathers kind of whirling around.
I
in
can
this
see them
wind.
too. Why would that be? Where are the feathers coming from?
So because it's towards the end of the year, the majority of the penguins will be molting.
Okay.
All of them go through a molt a year, the adults, and then when they're youngsters, they go through several molts. Here we go.
I'm gonna try.
Lots and lots of feathers.
Ah, would you look at that? Okay. So this is from young penguins or just...
Not necessarily. It could be from the young penguins. It can also be from the adults because the adults molt annually as well. But the young penguins will molt several times in a year
Okay.
until they get their adult plumage.
And that must leave them a little bit vulnerable.
It does. It certainly does, because if they don't have waterproof feathers, then they can't go swimming, which means they can't catch any food.
Yeah.
So they'll live for several weeks without having any food at all.
Oh dear. Okay, risky.
But
Oh,
it is
I'm
risky
starting to
because-
hear, I think. Starting to hear them.
And the feathers are starting to hit into us, which is quite cool. It's like snow.
Yeah.
Snow.
Snowing here in Simonstown.
Ooh, did you hear that?
I am starting to hear the sounds. Sounds like donkeys.
Yes, indeed. It's the braying of the penguins.
Which of course is how they get their name.
Yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm getting too shot, I guess.
Not at all, not at all. Hello.
Are you reporters? Is it about the penguin town?
No, we're not reporters, but we are filming. We're actually live streaming through 5G. Piece of history is happening right here, but I can't tell you all about it just yet.
Oh, but I'm so sorry that I am too short. I guess
Not a problem.
The whole thing is about penguins, right?
It is. Tell me, have you seen them already?
Yes, they are right ahead of you, and oh, they're amazing. They're adorable. I see that you have a
mascot.
Yeah. Well, you just go ahead and you'll have a good look at them. I
Okay.
mean, I travel all the way from the UK just to see them. You know, the Netflix
Yeah, Penguin Town.
I saw that one, and I just had to flee.
So you must love penguins a lot.
Yes, I do. I'm actually going to get one of those later. And well, I'm so sorry again for getting too short.
Would you like to say hi to our viewers?
Can I?
Yes.
Hi everybody. I am in South Africa, Cape Town, Simonstown, and hello family. I hope one day I can bring you to here as well, because it's amazing. Look at this. It's amazing. So thank you so much.
No,
guys.
thank you. Nice to meet you.
You too. Bye.
Oh, how sweet. Okay, I feel like we're close now.
We're very, very close.
Okay, getting excited. Let's just walk a little bit ahead. I can't wait to see them.
I also get so excited when we're going to approach the penguins. It's just such a treat for your eyes to be laid on all these penguins. I can't wait to see your reaction, Lauren.
Oh, would you look at that? They're right here this whole time.
Did you hear that?
Sounds just like a donkey.
It does.
I mean, I heard that they sound like donkeys, but they actually do sound like donkeys.
Very much so.
Oh my goodness, let's take a walk and go a little bit closer.
I think it's a fair representation of the penguins.
Absolutely.
Got here.
And all the feathers, they are molting. My goodness.
Wow.
Oh.
Have a look at these guys.
Hello, guys.
Oh, they're so adorable.
Nice to meet you all.
One of the most difficult things about being a guide and an ecologist in the area is that it's very hard to get past the fact that they're so cute. It's the first thing you want to say to people, and it's the first thing you think when you see them.
Wow, I can't believe I'm actually here and we're managing to show you all watching these adorable penguins. And I actually have a lot of questions for you
Go for
about
it.
them. Okay, so when did the penguins first arrive here?
So here at Boulders, they arrived in 1982.
Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
the first couple came along, or the first pair came along, and then they established a colony in this area. Yeah, and the way that penguin colonies work is that once chicks get their juvenile plumage and then they get their adult plumage, they'll return back to the colony in which they were born. So then it just bolts and bolts and bolts, and now we
Wow.
have about 2,000 to 3,000 penguins in this area.
So they came here and they just decided you're not leaving, huh?
No.
Wow, and why Boulders Beach? Why this?
It's actually very interesting. So apart from the fact that we spoke about before, the boulders protecting this area, because remember there's sharks, there's seals,
Yeah, of course.
around here, and penguins are a perfect meal for them. So the boulders and the kelp helps to create a little kind of protected area for the penguins.
Yeah.
So it's ideal in that sense, but also a slightly stranger reason is that historically, or prehistorically rather, penguins would be on islands, not on mainland areas. And because we've had development of houses and things like that, the penguins have lost one of their natural land predators, which were leopards and caracal and other types of cats. So then, because they had moved out of the area, the penguins thought, oh, this is a nice area to settle down. And
Why
I mean,
not?
if I was a penguin, I would love this area.
Me too. And you know, I'm just looking at them, and it looks like the sort of pattern on their bodies are all different. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. So they've got spots. In fact, we can have a look at our little friend here. This one in your hand.
Oh, this one, my friend, yes.
You can see that it's got spots in the center here.
Yeah.
Those are pretty much like a fingerprint. And then also along that first band, the way that the band kind of squiggles is also very much like our fingerprints. So you can identify them by those markings.
Wow, let's just take a look at them. They're all sunbathing. See this pair over here, are they a couple?
Yes, they would be a couple because they're monogamous. So they'll, unless their partner doesn't return from sea, unfortunately, or dies, they won't take another partner, which is quite romantic.
Wow, I did not know that. You know, it's just so perfect here being in this spot with Trushala. And if you just look over here, you'll see the ocean, the sand, the blue sky, even the mountains behind us. It's so incredibly perfect. But you know, I did hear that the population of penguins is decreasing. Is that the case?
Yeah, it certainly is decreasing quite
Okay.
a lot. In the thousands. So now they're an endangered species, which is unfortunate because they used to be in the thousands and not so much anymore. So they exist along the southern African coast.
Yep.
And the numbers have decreased drastically in the last 50 years.
Sort of what protection and monitoring methods are sort of in place for the penguins?
So at the moment there's a whole team of professionals who monitor the penguins constantly. They know where nest sites are. They even will be able to identify individuals.
Wow!
And they make sure that if we see an injury, an anomaly, something out of the ordinary, that penguin will be looked after immediately. There's immediate attention that's brought to that penguin.
Wow, that's great. And you know, I also heard more sad news that recently, I think, over 60 penguins actually died from being attacked by bees. Is that true?
Yeah, it is. Right here on Boulders, it's about 64 penguins that were attacked, unfortunately, by some honeybees. And that's such a difficult thing to predict. It's such a difficult thing to mitigate. And it happens so quickly.
Wow. I mean, are we safe? Are the bees here right now?
The bees are not here right now, especially not in attacking mode. For honeybees to attack, it's got to be, they've got to have some sort of upheaval. It doesn't just happen on a whim.
Wow, you know, Trushala, I wonder if technology could help. Technology like the 5G technology we're using to live stream today. It has actually been used a lot to help the environment. For example, Huawei have been sort of experimenting in the environmental sector at using 5G, especially for marine life. Where in Mauritius, believe it or not, the coral reefs are heavily degraded, I think up to 80% destroyed.
Wow.
So the coral's declining just like the penguins are declining. And Huawei have actually teamed up with the IUCN, the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, and together they're trying to help the situation by underwater monitoring and detection through AI, and they've actually had incredible results already.
I certainly think that something like that can be very helpful across environmental sectors, because it means that we can monitor the penguins more closely. Obviously, we try really hard for somebody to be on the ground if ever there is a problem, but there are going to be times when there isn't somebody available, or we're not away at the wrong moment, and that could certainly be helpful.
Absolutely. Just look at them. Take a look at this wonderful scene. I am overjoyed to see these penguins. I really am.
I love this little bit. See, some of them are going out. They're going to go out foraging now.
Oh, look at them.
Yeah.
Oh, fabulous.
And they look really, really clumsy on the beach. I mean, most of them are not moving because they're molting, so they can't get into the water. But they look super clumsy, and then once they get into the water, they just zoom around.
Oh, Trishala, thank you so much for today. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. And you know, today has really all been about sort of coming down here and seeing the penguins, meeting them with Trishala, and also learning a little bit about their history and why they're here. It's also been about sort of learning about the future possibilities or where we can go with 5G technology. I mean, in today's world with increasing advancing technology, reasonably coexisting with sort of technology is becoming more and more difficult for many companies across the board. And with Telkom's communication, thanks to Telkom's communication, I really expect that 5G is going to break through the limits once again to create a sort of better and different world. I feel that 5G will become more and more, or play a bigger role in South Africa, and will become more and more important across many different industries. So a big thank you to Trishala today.
My absolute pleasure.
A big thank you to Lungi, who's also been here from Telkom, and a big thank you to all for watching. A big thank you to the penguins for being here. I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and we really hope to see you again soon. Thank you.